Bună seara și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție și ultima, de fapt, ediție din acest sezon a Wings of Passion. Suntem în această seară cu o ediție cu totul specială pentru că o am invitată pe prietena mea, Ximena Reyes, în seara aceasta și vom ataca, ca să spun așa, cum se zice, în alte limbi pe care le vom folosi în această seară, o temă pe care nu am discutat-o, pasiunea. De fapt, noi am vorbit despre pasiune, că doar despre asta este acest podcast, dar nu am vorbit niciodată despre pasiune în forma ei interculturală. Așa că vom folosi toate cele 3 limbi pe care eu le cunosc, mai puțin ultima, dar voi încerca să-mi pot exersa și spaniola, pentru că familia mea latino s-a extins foarte tare de când o cunosc pe Ximena, așa că vom trece în engleză, dar cu siguranță voi avea așa switch și în spaniolă și în română, pentru că și Ximena este în țară la noi de foarte mulți ani, așa că de înțeles ne înțelege, de vorbit vorbește foarte simpatic, așa cum vorbesc toți latino. Ximena, bună seara și bine ai venit! Hello, welcome to our show!
Bună seara, Alina! Thank you so much.
I am honored to have you, though we know each other for, let's not say how many years, but because I know you, I entered a different world. And for that, I thank you. And I'm happy I can be part of the Latino, because my passion that with what I'm doing things, it's at some level more than Romanian can handle sometimes. And I understood that I have some Latino blood, then it's okay. But I want to understand, where does that come from? Because passion can be understood in different ways, in different cultures. So we are not talking about only Latino or Romanian, but we are also trying to discover what passion means in doing things, in having hobbies, or in work, because you are, of course, intercultural leader trainer, and you will tell us a bit more about your experience, so we can create the context so anybody understands why we are talking about intercultural passion with you. So we will touch this theme in different angles, but it will be about intercultural passion in everything that we do. So a little bit more about yourself and your experience and how you ended up, luckily, in Romania.
Well, I think what you were saying is usually a compass shows us the north, but I say sometimes it's your heart that shows us the north, where you should go. And not always, in many cultures, we are encouraged or taught to follow that other compass, the heart one, the passion one. We are taught structures, we are taught like that. So in my case, thankfully in my family, there was this passion of traveling. If I look into my family tree, there's always adventurers, travelers, people moving, sometimes for passion, sometimes because they were forced to. But if the narrative is there, you know it's possible. I was reading always books about remote places, and I had the bug. It's called the bug, the passion for traveling. I arrived to Romania many times because I had been here without knowing I will live here. So I came here
that's interesting.
Yes, I came here as vacation. I came here for a small project. I came again with another project. I came for vacations. But it's like that. It's the click. I've always felt good here. There was this connection that I felt that happens or not happens, because it's not by the book. It's a gut feeling, and I got it here. And at some point, I have the opportunity to choose, and I chose Romania. So it's passion with election.
You said it's like you choose, but it was not a mental choose. It was something like the heart told you to end up here in Romania. So I try to connect. Is there any connection between being passionate or feeling everything like through passion and feeling the energy of a place? Does that have any importance when you choose to leave any place? Because you did travel a lot and you are here now. So it's important to know, for people that maybe never thought about it, that it's important how they feel in a place, not only the opportunities like economical, money-wise and everything.
Yeah.
That's important also. Like
what helps you to wake up is the passion. If your passion is money and then you can go anywhere to make the money, then you're following the passion somehow, even if you're following the money. But definitely, I had a friend that says that countries are like shoes. Either they fit you or not.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like dating, they put you in these apps and you have the algorithm and they match you with 3 person, but then you meet them and there's no chemistry, even if by the book it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same. Feeling you can discover a part of yourself in a remote place. That's the most interesting thing, that you think you belong to a place, you have the roots, you grew up in that neighborhood, that's your school, and then suddenly you travel to a completely remote place where people don't look like you or they don't speak like you or whatever, and you feel at home.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is, and if you look at it, I told a friend, because I told him I was living in Romania, he says that's far away. I say it's still planet Earth. So if we were talking a different planet, I get it, but it's still the planet. So yes, I always look at the life of great travelers like Ibn Battuta or Marco Polo, and I said they were pretty fine at home. They could have stayed. They were okay, but what was this curiosity, this passion for others? This imagine how many times you're in a different place, you don't understand the language, but you feel welcomed.
Sí, entiendo eso.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So you follow passion. What else are you passionate about? Because, okay, travel is one thing, but you are not doing intercultural training, leadership training, just by traveling. I mean, there's something more. You have more passion. You are more passionate.
The passion is about the mindset in the heart. How do people think? How they make decisions?
The heart. Wait, mindsetting the heart?
Yes.
I needed to underline this. Yeah.
Yes, mindset in the heart, because my passion is to understand how people think the way they think. How do they make decisions? Do they make the decisions based on fear, in facts, in risk taking or avoiding risk? How do they say power? What do they trust? And here there's something very important. In many cultures, passion is seen as emotion. And in many cultures, they say, I cannot trust you in a leadership setting or in a business setting if I see your emotions, not that your emotions, that your emotions are there. For example, in a meeting room, that tells me I cannot trust you because you will leave your emotions to blur your judgment. So you cannot have a cold mind. Yeah. Well, in many other cultures, when you are cold, when you have a cold mind and you don't show emotions, they would say, I cannot trust this person. This person don't even have feelings, don't have emotions. So we have a clash of cultures where you're in one side, you will be admired as a leader for showing emotions, whatever emotions there are. Well, in the other place, they're telling you even like, no, don't even show emotions in your face. You come from places when you say the first hello is hello, with a smile, with an intonation, with an eye contact. And you go to other cultures where to be strong, you have to hide that. So you cannot see, I cannot read you. So I have the power. And this curiosity of understanding why we think different, why we think this is the right way or the other way. But at the same time, Alina, and you have mentioned it, I rediscover my Latinness abroad because I've been able to observe and compare and to think, they don't do this here, or how do they live? I wonder, So it's always that reflection. And what's the mindset of the heart? Because if all humans have emotions, then what do those who are told not to have passion but to follow the structure, what do they do with that, what they're feeling? So that's an interesting question.
Okay, so how do you discover Romania to be like in the extremes or in the middle? What do you how are we in matter of passion and passion in doing our job and our work, our leadership?
Where there's a passion about life. I can see that. There's a passion because you do take time to go for a drink after work, or go and have an ice cream, or walk in the park, or there's this passion of there's more into life, because in other countries they're passionate about working, and everything is work. You are your work, you have your work, you grow in the work. Well, here it's a different mix of passion about that, passion about the small pleasures that give you what I say, the quality of life. What do I mean by this? Passion about a good tomato, passion about finding the right honey, passion about having a nice suica at some point. It always pops up. So it's this passion about enjoying this and putting attention, because the suica is not something that you buy only in the supermarket. The added value is when somebody say, hey, I got this from the Zara, and my grandpa made it, and there's a neighbor. So there's a story. There's that element that is just an object has a story. So I see the passion in creating these things. I see it there.
A question pop up in my mind. Sorry, but I need to ask you, because you said that Romanians like to go out for a drink afterwards, and this means that we discover small pleasures for and about life. But you people in UK do that every day. Do they have the same passion about life? Or because I'm asking you, because we need to understand that one action does not need to be translated exactly.
You're very right. If you ask anyone from any cultures, is family important for you? 90% will say yes. But then if you ask, what is family? Some will say, me, my husband, and my kid. Other will say, me, my husband, my kid, my grandparents. Latinos, me, my primo, my cousin, my auntie, my so even when you say family, one might be thinking 2 people, 3 people, another will be thinking 50. Okay, so the first thing, then what are you allowed to do related to family? So in some countries it's like, you can ask at work, can you hire my sister? Where in other countries is no. In Romania, for example, you can say, look, it's my kid's last day of school, I have to go, the doamna dirigintă, and you go with the flowers and the thing, and it's perfectly valid. That means family is important. If you go to other countries, you say, I have to skip because it's my last day, my kid's last day of school, they would look at you. So even if both places have say family is important, what is family, how and what you can do is different. And same about the passion or going out for a drink. What is the purpose of things? Connecting, relaxing, enjoying. In some places we go out and we have the drink, but we don't talk about our life. I don't share my intimate thing. And this is where I think it makes the difference,
Okay, could be, yeah.
I go out and I have a drink to chillax and do something and socialize, or I go out to have a drink and maybe connect and share from both sides. So I think there's a big difference in the sharing part and knowing the other.
So we can go out and connect only with our minds, so very logical, or go out and connect with our souls.
And our hearts.
In our hearts. And there were
2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Exactly. Can you give us more examples? Because we are talking about intercultural differences and assemblances. So
let me give you an example. I have talking about emotions, how much emotions are allowed in the public sphere, and how much do we know about emotions. So you have countries where the communication is very direct. I say this and that's what I mean. Well, in other places I say this, but I mean that, but it's in there. Exactly. So what happens there when you cannot trust the words? You have to look at the face, the context, and so on. I've been doing one example for 15 years with people from all over the world.
Okay.
And I show them a picture. And it's a man and a woman, and they are, we can share it later so people can have their own thoughts. And I said, looking at this picture, what do you think is happening? Who do you think they are? And so on. So some cultures just say, oh, they're very important because he's wearing a suit and she's wearing glasses inside, and they have people looking at them and look at her nails. So she must be important, you know? And they like each other because he's touching her arm. He's like, they're close, but he's holding her, you know?
Okay.
Those are usually cultures that are very detached from the emotion. They don't see it. Romanians, for example, are always saying it's a funeral. Somebody died. He is comforting her. Even though you cannot see his full face, you can only see the side. They say, look, he's smiling like with compassion and the way he's holding her. So you really have to be connected to the emotions. Maybe you don't express it. Maybe you express it only when you explode. That's a completely different thing. But is your emotional wiring connected or disconnected? I think that's what I mean. And I was very interested to see how Romanians were always pointing at these things that for other people from other cultures, they just couldn't see it because they're not used to look or explore into emotions. If you ask them anything that is task oriented, they get it faster. If it's relationship or emotion oriented, let's not even talk about passion. That's different.
Yeah, with your example, I was thinking that manifesting passion and passion for life and passion for love or loving life, it really is difficult to be shown like freely here. Maybe because it's our history of not showing these emotions, even though we are known as being a bit caliente Latino here in Eastern Europe. But still, we are not showing this emotion very often, not in a globally or majority. We don't. And I remember my a dear friend of mine that said, look, I was observing men here in Romania or in Europe in general, and they are not expressing their feelings, their emotions towards their partner. They don't touch hands. They don't, okay, not going wild in the street. It's a different story. But they don't have this affection like.
That's true, because I have had as a Latina to tune down this touching. And now I'm like, I touch people and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So I have to think about that. But it's true. I mean, we have degrees, no? Levels 0 to 10. And you're right, because by history, Romanians had to protect themselves. You know, you have to deal with big empires and people passing, and you had to negotiate things. So you could not just go tra-la-la with your smile and looking for the connection. You have to protect yourself. And a way to protect is to enclose and not show, you know. But I think if you see at what the great coaches and the people are saying, they're saying, oh, you should dance for oxytocin, or you should hug for blah, blah, blah. Latinos, we've been doing that. We don't have the titles, but we do it and we practice it. And as I was telling you, only when I went abroad, I realized this thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, we are like this. We hug, we touch, we connect in this very meaningful way. And we're passionate. And
sincere about it. I mean, I've never felt that you do it like I said, and you are sincere about manifesting this, because I never felt among you guys like it's not okay that you hug me, or you do it naturally. You said you didn't have the words or the titles, but you do it like natural.
Because it's role modeling. And I always ask, I know the dancing is always a thing, and people's like, oh, are you dancing in the streets all day? I'm like, no, that's not true. But then I went back and I was like, damn, it's true. Because you might go in the metro and you have a guy coming there to dance in a very nice way and asking for money, but you're laughing, it's very funny. I remember sometimes when you were taking the bus going back from university, of course the bus driver has songs and music, so many times you're there holding and it's just body starts moving. But why does that happen? Because it's role modeling. we dance forever. Dance for us is embedded in our lives. When we never dance to dance properly or perfectly, we dance as an expression. And when we have family lunches, I'm not saying parties, lunches are always parties. Or dinners are always parties.
End up in parties, okay.
Yes. We dance with our grandparents. There's transgenerational. Everybody dance with everyone. Everybody's having fun. We many times we're teasing each other and trying to make a turn, and it doesn't work because it's for the fun of it. So when we're thinking about passion, I said, look in when we want to understand a culture, we have to look at the proverbs, for example, or the sayings or the songs. And if you listen to Latino song, is like, for example, that one, no hay que llorar, que la vida es un carnaval, you shouldn't cry, life is a carnival, life is a party. And it's not that we are not having hard times. We had them, but we say life is already complicated. Why will we complicate it even more? Just enjoy. And if you have a bad time, dance. And if you have a good time, dance. Because see, the song says las penas se van bailando. I don't know how to translate that to Romania. Las penas se van bailando.
Toate relele se duc, se evaporă în timp ce dansezi, da. De la baila.
Exactly, because even if you want to look at it at the kinetic thing, you're releasing the stress, you are in contact. How healthy is to be in contact with your body, So this rare thing that appears at the Latinos being so passionate is in reality a practice of being expressive. Say it. I come from a time, I think it still happens in Latin America. If a guy likes you, you will wake up at 2:00 in the morning and somebody's singing and shouting your name in the street with some 3 friends singing for you and saying, Ximena, I love you, or whatever your name is, because it's putting that vulnerability out there. You cannot love with fences. You can't. And here I see that a lot. It's all fenced, everybody plays with the cards here. And I get it why. You want to win, you want to be assertive, but there's a bigger game.
Why? I think why.
Yeah. Why?
Why? Because I think we were taught to not make a fool out of ourselves, like don't let the neighbor laugh because you do that and that. And I think I had this fence. I remember while we were saying about the guy coming to your, singing. I remember I was in high school and a guy that liked me back then. Okay, he didn't sing, for God's sake, he didn't. But he was starting at Alina, at my, shut up. If you want to talk to me from now on, or I talk to you, just shut up. I didn't understand what you were saying, and now I'm sorry, I was like that, and we are like that in general.
Because you have to put your passion. For me, is the fuel that helps you to move towards a goal. Passion is not the goal; is the energy, is the electricity, is it what helps you to move somewhere. And look at Paulo Coelho. Because your passion can be to be a writer.
True.
And that's why I say the mindset of the heart. You know certain things. You don't know the word, but you know how they feel. They make you feel right or not. You know how they register in you. When you don't have an emotional language, it's really hard to know what to do with this, because om jag börjar prata svenska, du förstår inte. See, what do you do about that? Nothing. It's the same. If people are not used to express, to put words into their feeling language, te quiero, te amo, te necesito, te adoro, te extraño, mi adoro de tine, say it. Why won't you express it? Then you become, is when you learn a language and you don't practice it for a while, you might be able to understand what they're saying, but it's hard for you to express.
Here, yeah.
yeah, like you know the language, but if you don't practice, you lose it. Same with the emotions, with the emotional language, with the love language. And here with the Latinos, we're very versed in this thing. So for me, passion is the engine that moves things. And you have to know how to register it and how to speak it. But I understand in many places this has been put down as irrational, as is not what it takes you. We were talking about Paulo Coelho. He knew he wanted to be a writer. He felt it inside. He was doing it. It's clear when you, and here I tell a lot, look at the childhood, because that thing that you were passionate about as a child usually is what you end up doing when you find yourself again later in life. I don't know if you wanted to say something, or should I say the Paulo Coelho thing?
No, you say it, and I after you say about Paulo Coelho, just like to continue, because this podcast is also for empowering people and parents as well to let children discover their passion. So my second question after you tell us about Paulo is like, how important is to allow our kid or to push our kid to discover their passion, and if there is any differences between in different cultures in children following their passion.
Yeah. Two things. Remind me if I forget. So in Paulo Coelho, he wanted to be a writer. He knew how it felt. He said, I want to be a writer. In his family, you could be, I think, lawyer or architect, and the dad said no. And they put him in a mental house. He stayed there. Then he agreed to come out. I might be twisting some of the details, but that's the story. He came out and he says, fine. Okay, I'll be, I think, a lawyer and architect. Okay, I'll do whatever I will fit in. I will do what you think it's better for me and what would bring me longer in life. Because usually this is the thing. Parents are worried.
A lot.
And you need to make money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he did it. He did it for 2 years. He was dying inside because there was not passion about it. How do you wake up every day and do something? And here I want to be very kind, because some people have to do jobs that they don't like to do because they need it and there's something they have to do. I am hopeful that many people are able to do the work that they want. So sometimes it's a privilege. But in his case was like this. He had to work. He couldn't make it. He was suicidal. He was just not resonating. He quit. Quitting does not only mean quitting a job, quitting him possible future success, quitting the expectations of the family, and he left. He left to travel around the world. And in this traveling around the world is how The Alchemist came to life. He wrote it. He got a very small editorial to publish it. Nobody was buying that book. There was not that book feeling before. That was just this weird thing he was telling. He went knocking on doors in their neighbors and say, hi, can you read my book? Just tell me what you think. Not even trying to sell it. One of his neighbors was like, wow. And he got the help and he got the push. So passion by itself moves you forward, but you have to be aware. You have to put intention. Intention means wish something and put the work to get it. Otherwise, it's just a wish. So that's Paulo Coelho. You tell me about the children. Energy is something that can only be transformed and conducted. It does not disappear. That energy that makes you being yourself. And here I want to tell people, you need everyone. We need everyone in the world. We need the rebels. We need the leaders. We need the creators. We need the inventors. We need all of them.
True.
So when we are forcing a journey based on our fears, on our own thinkings, and about work, most of the works that your children will have don't even exist now. True. So how do you want to prepare? That's some question I ask parents. And we have this, we always ask children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm against that question because we are supposing that they are unfinished humans. They will be when they finally are grown up, and they are all ready, and they already have their passions and their interests. So you said in other cultures, I would say more than culture is the mindset.
Okay.
You have the right to explore. There's not one journey, it's not performance oriented. You can take 1 year to travel. For example, I've seen this in Sweden. They are more relaxed. For example, the first 10 years of school, you don't have grades.
10-year, okay. Here, just the first 4.
So you have a lot of time to explore, to discover. It's not about the grade, it's about finding yourself. If you don't go this way, there are many other ways. There's not one way. And I just saw the news of the exam. I think this exam that you have in Romania makes parents stressed, teacher frustrated, students miserable.
True.
Because,
and it is called, you know how, Ximena, it is called the exam of your life.
Exactly.
It puts a lot of pressure.
Yes, it's a lot of pressure because a whole society where you belong and you haven't seen any different is telling you this is it. Suerte o muerte, you know?
Sí.
When actually, if you look back, I think the most beautiful gift I've given myself is to reinvent myself, rediscover myself, and change route 1,000 times. Because I'm the captain of my boat.
This is seen like, she has a very, very powerful strength, you know. This doesn't happen to everybody. She is special. It's that, but you can actually be.
Yes, the first thing is turn off the noise of the society, what people think, what the neighbors think. They won't be there with you in the morning when you have to push yourself out of bed and say, okay, world, here I come. I don't have this every day, but I do have something every day. I play music every morning. Every morning I am in bed, I read the news, I do my meditation, and then to get out of bed, I play a song. And that's how I start the day. And this is what I am in control. I own my first 20, 30 minutes of my morning. Those are mine. Then the work can collapse, whatever it is, but that's very important. So you were saying to discover a passion, sometimes you have to go back to what you were meant to be from the beginning.
How can we understand what our kids are meant to, or us, but let's say we want to save the world, so we save the kids.
I think there's the preconception. I was trying to look for a quote for you, but I can't find it. We have to understand our preconception that the children are acting on a whim. Today they want to do tennis, but tomorrow they want to do golf, and that's not fine. They have to finish something. According to who? How, when you go to buy a dress, you don't try one, you try many.
True.
And you should be able to have this. Why everything has to be done just to excel? And then you can try it. No, you can try, say, I don't like it, or I just try one time. Now, I'm not saying give in to every wish. There should be some accountability, there should be some dialogue, and there should be some purpose. But I tell you what's the thing. How do we want to help the children to discover their passion when we as adults are not living it? And I'm not saying only quit your job and go for your passion, but is there any glimpse of passion in your current life? What's the highlight of your week or your day? And so we want to ask children to be courageous, risk-taking, and so on, but we are not role modeling. Children do as you do, not as you say.
That is perfectly true. But you know why? I think as adults we have this fear that actually conducts us in our life, saying that out of your passion you cannot make a living, you know, because we, or at least here in this culture, so this is why I'm asking you, because you can compare with other cultures.
Yes.
we think that passion is something like a hobby. So we
Yeah.
compare them with a hobby. We don't think that we can make a performance out of it. And this is what is my goal here with this show,
Yeah.
to make people understand that you can make really high performances through your passion, or because you have passion.
Yeah. It's like short distance run, 100 meters, and a marathon. With passion, you can run the marathon because that fuels you. In the other way, without passion, yes, you can have a career, but it's a short distance. And when you reach the 100 meters, what will fuel you to continue? What will help you to confront the strong winds and the storm? Nothing, because you will feel empty. Why? Because one thing is to be goal oriented and think that, and the other thing is to be goal driven. One is, I will go this way, and while I'm on that way, I will enjoy, learn, and get the best of it. While the other one is, I will sacrifice everything to get to the goal, but if I don't get there, I didn't even enjoy the journey. So that's completely different. And this is what people have to think about, reflect of their own life. It's a hard journey. It's
But
only
life is
now.
not easy. But life is not easy.
Exactly. And many times the road to find your passion, or to allow yourself to live embodying the passion, it's a hard one. Nobody says it's going to be easy. I really like Messi when they were losing against Saudi Arabia. No, they had the issue with France in the final. I saw what he.
Football, I understand.
Yes.
I saw you.
I told you. I warned you.
Amazing.
I warned you.
It was a unique experience, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm passionate about football too. So I saw what Messi told his colleagues when they went into the break, and it was tied. They were devastated. They felt they should be winning, and he said, Why did you think this was going to be easy? This is the finals. If both teams are in the final, it's for a reason.
True.
We have to fight. Nobody told you it was going to be easy. So go out and fight. Whatever it is, just fight. See, live with the passion. Go with it. And there's a very beautiful thought of a Peruvian movie that is called El Camino, the path, Drumul.
Drumul, calea, da.
And it says some people are born and they find immediately their road, their camino. Some others spend 5 years, some others 10, some other they discover at 70, some died without finding it. And I think it's just a loss for you and for the world. Think of the people who have made a difference, and they have made difference a contracorriente. How do I say this? When the
Împotriva curentului.
Yes. They have had a hard life to stand their ground and to say this is the way. And thanks to their stubbornness, suffering, sacrifice, holding on to the passion, is that we get many of the things of the comforts that we work with right now. So I think the journey of passion, it's a journey that as humans we should explore, and as cultures too, because we have also, for example, this might be Romanian, but we have a lot of influence from the West and from the East, or whatever it is. What talks back to our origins, to our origin as a humans, as society, as cultures.
You know, they say that opposite attracts. What do you do? Okay, it may be true, but what do you do if these opposites about passion attracts? Because okay, they can attract one to each other because they are missing something, but it's for a long run. And I'm telling here not only about the personal life, but also about professional life, because I want to get back to how do you connect mind and soul to CEOs and to leaders that you are working with, about this passion.
Well, first of all, A good leader knows that it's about the heart, and otherwise you're just a good manager. So one is about getting the task done, and the
Okay.
other one is about growing the talent of your people within. There's a big fight because you have traditional management styles, which leave no space for that. As I told you, culturally, I can say, for example, there are cultures that say, don't let your emotions blur you, keep your emotions inside. So, of course, if you will have someone that is passionate, showing emotions, that might be a clash. Now, that's why I do my work, because my work is to explain to people why you think this way and why you think this way, and then connect them as a method of survival. If you don't evolve, you don't survive. If you don't take other abilities, you don't survive. Learning from other ways. So maybe the passionate also has to learn how to conduct the energy of the passion. And the one who was told that passion just blurs your mind maybe has to learn that with that you get further. So it's always about adding and connecting. In the intersections is where you find it. The problem is when they just stay apart, judging from the distance and from their own perspective, which is limited and obtuse. So that's the answer. The contrast will come. It happens all the time. You have people coming from a certain country working to another place and thinking, oh, we will teach you. If you're not ready first to learn about yourself and then to learn from the others, there's no way out.
In your experience, like let's say here in Romania, how easily do this transformation happens? For example, you have a CEO from Latin America countries coming here to work for a company that is, I don't know, from Austria. I don't know if this happens, but very good professionals. So therefore they hired him as a CEO. And then they collapse like in the two different differences about the culture. Because for sure, if the company is in that part of the country, of the world, like Austria, Germany, and so on, they are more tight in their things well done. And a CEO comes. How do you manage to make these things work?
You're right, because we have a corporate culture. So let's say it's a company in Romania. So that's Romanian team in a corporate culture that belongs to another place with a CEO that comes from another place. Right now, I work exactly with this, but with a British company. So Latin America, corporate British corporate culture in Romania. There are misunderstandings. Because, for example, the relation to work, it's very different. You can have, in Latin America, we have these sayings, the work dignifies you. So we're very thorough about work. Work give us pride. You don't work more because they pay you more. You work always good because it's your reputation. This is very important. Yeah. And you have other countries with work is something you do, but it's not your life. And we call it, you won't wear the t-shirt. You won't do any added value. You go in, you go out, and that's what. So there's a cultural clash there. And again, the expectation in the middle of another culture that is very reduced space. Again, what's the thing? That this person that has been sent from Latin America, for example, has an added value. That added value is like the oil that helps the machinery to smoothly work. People say, but the personalities are different. Yes, but the software is the same. How do we get things done? How do we lead? What is power? How we use power? So what happens is when you have these, you have to create like a different planet where all coexist and all of them have to learn. And there's a time of adaptation. Think when you travel. One thing that you need when you travel is an adapter to connect, to plug your computer. So my work is to help adapters, adapters to be able to function. True. Because you cannot just function in the other way. And this is always learning and growing, learning and growing. I can tell you, I have had people that have been working internationally 30 years. And I thought, wow, what am I going to teach them? And they were in the training because they knew they cannot take for granted the learning. Well, you have other people who have been working 5 years and say, look, we do it this way in my country and it works. So now they have to learn how to do it. That won't work. It's, again, a short-term part. We always have to win. As I was saying, let's get back to the topic of passion and meeting others. When you go out of your way because of a drive or a passion, let's say your passion is food, and you step out of the horizon, you look beyond and you're daring, you're a risk taker, and you try other food. Maybe you like it, maybe not, but maybe that would add to your experience. So going out of your way, meeting other people, learning other ways. And you see, for example, 2 days ago, a Peruvian restaurant was elected the best restaurant in the world.
Wow.
And the waiting list is for months. But I can tell you about Peruvian food. Another of my passions, food. Peruvian food is the mix of the traditional Pacific Coast cuisine with those ingredients, the highlands that were with the Incas with other ingredients, the Asian migration of Chinese and Japanese, for example. Okay. What that gave birth to, learning from each other, combining for example, the ceviche, trying to have raw fish with the ingredients. All of that is, look, how do you eat that? What are you eating? That curiosity, that willing to meet the other and making it us. So that's what I think. Passion moves you, helps you. The intercultural part, yes, sometimes it goes wrong, but you have all the opportunities to win and to grow.
That is true. My dear, we are at the end of this last edition. So in the end, I would like you to sum up or to give our people that are watching us like some last words about maybe a motivational one. I don't know. What do you want for them to remain after our discussion about everything that we discussed? I mean, like in a few words. What do you want to remember?
One is a quote that I put from Pablo Neruda. It says, if nothing saves us from death, at least love should save us from life. And my question of reflection is to people, are you alive? Do you live or you survive? In what mode are you? That's my question.
Thank you for the question. It makes me goosebumps, even though I know I'm living. I mean, I'm not alive. I am alive and I'm surviving, and I'm alive and alive, even if life gives
and you might have to give birth to yourself 1,000 times. And one of the books of Pablo Neruda is, I confess that I have lived. And my question to the people is, have you lived? Are you really alive? Are you just pushing the ball like the rat in the labyrinth and it thinks you're very busy? But are you living the life that you're meant to live? And again, I know many people in the world are living in dictatorship, are repressed by their freedom in many things. And I know there's a bigger thing that they cannot live. But even that, you see people throughout history fighting for that passion. So my real question is, are you alive? ¿Estás vivo o sobrevives? Or are you just making it from one day to the other? And not every day will be on your top. One day you will be miserable. Passion is also crying, to be able to cry on the floor. That's also, the passion is not only the happy part. It's just live your emotions. Be human. Learn the language of emotions and love and passion.
Thank you very much. It was like really blessed talking to you, and I enjoy talking to you all the time. So waiting to meet you in 2 weeks, like officially. Of course, we will meet afterwards. Thank you again, Ximena, for being here.
Thank you, Alina, for embracing the madness of the Latino lifestyle. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you for this invitation. I feel very honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And for all the people that are watching us, I will end now in English because we had this interview in English. But my message is the same. Please do live your life through passion, for passion, and driven by passion. So this is the message that I have every time that I have this show. And now I will finish in Romanian as well. Încă o dată vă mulțumesc că ați fost alături de noi. Mulțumesc pentru un sezon care s-a încheiat astăzi și abia aștept să ne vedem din toamnă cu alte interviuri, alte discuții, alți oameni super, super pasionați care fac performanță din pasiunea lor. Și uite că performanța nu înseamnă doar în sport sau în muzică, deși am avut extrem de mulți invitați pe care i-am iubit pentru pasiunea pe care o au pentru ceea ce au făcut, dar pasiunea este în tot ceea ce faci tu, uite, în traininguri interculturale, în comunicare. Eu ador să ascult și să creez să scot la lumină aceste povești. Așa că hai să trăim cu pasiune și pentru pasiune, pentru că viața e scurtă și mai bine o trăim decât să o lăsăm să treacă. Încă o dată, o seară frumoasă, să aveți un weekend plin de viață și de soare în suflet și să ne vedem cu bine la toamnă. O seară frumoasă!
Ciao!